Hi, this is Morgan Doremus at the RT Book Lovers Convention 30th anniversary, and I have Richelle Mead sitting next to me, who I'm so excited. You are such a fan favorite around RT, and our readers, they love everything you write. You definitely have the paranormal slant in both adult and young adult, and that's really interesting that you decide to write for both audiences. Is there a reason that you decided to do that?
I like both age groups, and I think depending on what phase of life you're in, there's just different things to write about. Even though at the heart of it, the core things you feel, the love, the sorrow, I think those actually are pretty consistent. Like, everyone feels those no matter what age you are. So those are always, strong in my books. But the experiences of a 17-year-old, I can tell a different story for them versus a 35-year-old, and so it's fun to change the context and work in different groups.
And then also a teen that falls in love with your work, she can, like, when they get older, they can follow you right into your adult books.
That's true. That wasn't by design, or it wasn't a master plan of mine or anything. It just works out nicely. And I've got crossover in both directions. There's adults reading the teen stuff and teens moving on, and so it's just fun. And ultimately, I just try to tell a good story, and we see what age group grabs onto it.
Well, you're publishing a great story. We reviewed a Gameboard of the Gods in the RT magazine, and it got a top pick. We absolutely loved it. This is a new series for you, Age of Axe, and this is adults, so you are writing the older, this is paranormal romance, and it takes place in the future. Can you tell me about this world that you've created?
Yeah, it takes place about 100 years from now, and it's this world that's sort of been put back together after a virus devastated much of the population. And so it's kind of a soft sci-fi world. They're more advanced in some ways than we are now. And one of the notable things about this world is that they're very against religion and the supernatural, because they sort of blame that for the disaster that tore apart the world. And so one of my protagonists, his job is to go and investigate religions and cults, and if they seem dangerous, the government intervenes, not often very pleasantly. And so what starts to get kind of troublesome for him is that this person whose job it is to bust religion and the supernatural starts getting involved with it when paranormal things start happening to him. And
he has a little bit of a problem. Now, this is Justin.
Yes.
And he's on the outs with the government because he has disagreed with some of their policies.
Exactly.
And that doesn't have to be, that can't be very comfortable, especially in a world like this when the government really can kind of step in and be like shutting you down,
It is, yeah. And when we actually meet him at the beginning of the book, he's been exiled, kicked out of his own country, which is pretty devastating because in this world, some places are wonderful and shiny and new, like the country he comes from, and other places are like whatever your typical dystopian Mad Max kind of things, and that's kind of where he's been sent because he can't get back into his own country, and so he's pretty bummed about that as the book opens. But then this opportunity comes for him to get back home, and that's where he stumbles into all these supernatural happenings that are starting to pop up in the world.
One of the things I love about this book is your heroine. She is a heroine with a capital H.
Yes.
And she is a military expert. So she's one of those people. Does she know like 16 ways to kill you with a pen? Is that
she does?
May?
That is the kind of person she is. Yeah, and it's fun because she is this super soldier of the future, and at the same time we find out she comes from this very aristocratic kind of coddled background where girls are primped up and displayed, for the highest bidder, so to speak. And then here she is. She ends up in this very powerful, commanding role, which you wouldn't have expected a young woman from that background to come into. And so it's fun because I love the dichotomy that you can do within a character like that. Because I think very often, you get that tough girl and everyone says, oh, all tough, but right. She can dress up for a party. She knows how to do that. That's where she came from. And I think it's fun to have characters that have these seemingly contradictory traits within them.
Is it hard for Justin, when May shows up and she is the super soldier, is it hard for him to understand that in a lot of ways she's his equal and that's okay, but when it also comes to like the fighting and physical things, she's just as competent, if not more competent, and for him being a male, is that hard for him to kind of accept from this female heroine?
I don't think he has a problem with it. In fact, he is the kind of person, being like a government agent who's always had a military backup from others. He's kind of used to that. He goes in as the bureaucrat and is used to others being the muscle. But I think actually what happens is he's almost inspired by her in the sense that he wants to learn to defend himself. Not exactly like, oh, he's going to go out and take lessons, but he's always been fine, I'll sit back. And he's like, wow, there's something very noble about this, and look at her putting herself on the line, and it kind of makes him want to just step up as well in a lot of different ways.
I like that. That is so much fun how that plays out. And the romance. You know that there's a romance in here,
yes.
but we just don't know, is it one that we're going to see continuing through the series, or is this going to be May and Justin's story and then you're going to go to another couple for the next Age of X?
No, we follow them through the whole series, for
okay.
sure. And yeah, they have some romantic troubles.
Good times and bad.
Yeah, seems mostly to be bad. Half the probably is if you ask them. But yeah, we're gonna see them, and it's this is kind of it's a slow burn, like I like to do with my first books. Usually, you don't always like get the epic life-changing romance quite yet, but it's all seated there, and then the next book or so is really when I like to just turn it on their heads. I like my readers to sort of get established and think they know what's going on before you really start to pull at the heartstrings. So.
Well, I know some of your series, we see 5, 6, 7, even more books. Is this going to be a series that you see going that long, or does this have a little bit of a shorter arc?
I don't know yet. I mean, okay. I know in my head where the arc has to go. Mm-hmm. It usually takes me at least the second book to know how long it's going to take to tell that story. So I'm working on the second one right now, and once that's finished, I'll be able to look and be like, okay, it took me this long to tell this much of the story. We're going to need a lot more books, or maybe, hey, we can finish this off in one more.
Okay, so. well, that's great. And again, this is Gameboard of Gods as part of the Age of X series. It's the beginning, and this is for a more adult audience.
Yes.
But your YA fans out there, your young adults, I know that they're going to say, why didn't you ask her about Vampire Academy? So I have to say, where are we at with Vampire Academy, that series?
There's two very cool things going on in the Vampire Academy world. One is the Bloodline series, which is the spin-off from that, following Adrian and Sydney. That series is on fire. People who read the third one knows that the temperature got turned up significantly, and it's off the charts in the next one, which is called The Fiery Heart, which will come out in November. So yeah, Adrian fans, bring out your smelling salts and stuff. It's
get ready for some heat.
It's going to be serious, yeah. So that's one cool thing, and the other thing, of course, that's exciting right now is the Vampire Academy movie is in production right now. It's about.
I wasn't sure if I could ask you about that.
No, it's official. It's real. I've been denying it's real for a long time because it was one of those at any moment it could not be. But they're building sets, they're designing costumes. It's going to start filming at the end of this month, and we've got a scheduled release for Valentine's Day 2014.
That's amazing. And have you seen any of the sets or met any of the actors that are going to be playing in the movie?
I have not. I'll probably do a set visit this summer and get to see everything coming to life, which is just it's going to be mind blowing.
I was going to say that's got to be one of the most gratifying things to know that your fans love it so much that they want not only the books to read about it but to see it on the big screen.
Oh yeah, they are, and they're so I feel so just humbled by the passion of my fan base that they love it so much, and they are so tuned into everything with this movie because they want to see it done justice, and so each character choice and everything, all the fans are so involved and excited about. And I think it's going to be good. I know each time there's a new casting choice, there's always people like, no, that's not quite what it looks like in my head, and that's going to be inevitable. But I think what we're going to see is that just the spirit and like the quality of these actors, like I think they've nailed who these characters need to be. The people working on this are so thoughtful with all their choices. There's nothing like, oh, just grab someone.
We'll make it work.
Can someone do a Russian accent? There's nothing like that. They've done all these very deliberate auditions and everything, and so I don't know what the movie's going to ultimately look like, but I mean everything I've seen so far, I think they're just knocking it out of the park right now.
Okay, so we've got books, we've got movies, and for pretty much any age, Richelle Mead, thank you so much for talking with me today.